Hi, welcome to Conquering Chronic Illness. Hi, my name is Teresa. I am a woman, wife, and mother conquering chronic illness. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the mother part of conquering chronic illness. If you don't already know, I have another channel with my husband, Team Lawson on YouTube. It is a channel where we talk about all the things that meet within the intersection of millennial marriage and special needs parenting, because we are parents to a autistic daughter or a child with autism, depending on which language you use. I don't care either way. And you will notice that throughout this video. So it is Autism Awareness Month, and so this video is going to be about my experience as a special needs mom, as autism mom, a mom of an autistic child. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that throughout the entire video. Whatever comes up comes out, and it is fine. If you have a particular preference as to how you would like me to refer to myself, well, you'll probably get all of it throughout the video. So just applaud when I get to the way you like to hear me call myself. So I have a daughter. She is 8. I always want to say she's 9, but she's not 9 yet. She's 8. She is autistic. She was diagnosed at the age of 4. We have a couple of videos on our Team Lawson channel, and I'll put a link down below if there for some helpful videos. She was diagnosed when she was 4. I had some suspicions earlier on, and I should have gotten her evaluated. If I have one regret as a mom, it was not getting her evaluated earlier, because she's autistic. And there's no shame in her being autistic, and it would have been helpful for her, I think, if she, and for us as parents, honestly, because we had a rough patch around 3 and 4. If we'd have known how to better reach our child because of our diagnosis. Anyway, so for those of you who are opposed to functioning labels, please plug your ears. She was diagnosed as high-functioning autistic on the spectrum. She is verbal, but she struggles with expressive and receptive communication. Not so much receptive. She understands a lot more language than she is able to say. I actually have to tell people, like, don't watch what you say in front of her because she understands you. She has ADHD as well, so she's not always paying attention to what you're saying. But she definitely understands a whole lot more language than she can say. But that is also improving. It amazes me what she's able to say, or what more language she's able to express on a daily basis. Macy is quite precocious. She's hilarious. She has an amazing sense of humor, even with the words that she's able to say. She's very loving and affectionate. A lot of times autistic individuals are characterized as being socially withdrawn. She's definitely a social butterfly. She does need her space though. And so when she's home, she's a lot of times to herself. Either she's hot or cold. She's either by herself or she's in my lap. So that's our girl. Being a mom of a child who is on the spectrum is a mixed bag. It is so emotional. Like literally today I was bawling, boo-hoo crying, because this morning we were getting ready. She was giving me all sorts of cuddles and hugs, and I was like, hey, go tell your dad to brush your teeth. I had to finish fixing her lunch. I'm fixing her breakfast for her to carry with her. And she left, and she was gone for a little while, and she came back, and I was like, did daddy brush your teeth? Because I thought he was in the room getting dressed. And she said, yeah. And I smelled toothpaste on her breath, and her teeth were obviously brushed. And so I was like, okay, well, daddy brushed your teeth, and I didn't think anything else of it. Well, they left. Half hour later, I'm in the bathroom. The toothbrush cap is off. The tube is like squeezed, like a little kid had grabbed their hands around it. Her toothbrush she has one of those suction bottom toothbrushes downstairs. She has a mechanical one, electric one upstairs, but the manual one downstairs, and has suction bottom. She's smashed it on the counter. And I realized she came into the bathroom, got her toothbrush and put some toothpaste on and brushed her teeth by herself, like a big girl. First time ever in life. I was so proud of my baby. It's the little things, y'all. Independence is something that we struggle with, especially with hygiene and stuff. And I was just a mess, boo-hooing and crying for such a small little milestone. There are lots of tears. There's also lots of laughter. There's lots of paperwork. So much. Oh, so much paperwork. I'm in the midst of a lot of transition with Mason right now, and so I have so much paperwork, y'all. And so, yeah, I am going to answer a couple of questions that I pulled from offline, things you've always wanted to ask mom of child with special needs. You may not have wanted to ask, but I'm going to answer anyway. And hopefully you find this enjoyable. Share this with someone that you think will find it interesting. Check in the description down below. Editing Teresa, don't forget to put the links to your channel to some appropriate videos. We talk about autism a lot more on the channel I have with my husband. And so here are the questions. First one, as a mom of a special needs child, this is a good one. What should we tell our kids if they ask loudly about a potentially special needs kid? So we all know the scenario. Kids in public, they see a kid in a wheelchair. Mom, why are his legs like that? It's so embarrassing for us as adults, but I would, as a parent, I would much rather you ask me, why is my child yelling or flapping her arms or spinning around? Or why does she have her hand over her ears? Or why isn't she speaking back? Because she struggles with conversational communication. So if you say hi, it may take her a second to get into the groove of the conversation. I would much prefer you ask me. So, hi, why is Macy doing this? Or why is she? I much prefer, because kids will ask, and I've had kids ask, and it's very simple to just say, hey, this is Macy, she's autistic. And when people are autistic, sometimes they have trouble with communication, or sometimes they have trouble with loud noises, or sometimes they move a lot, or spin or flap or make a lot of noise to self-stimulate and to calm this. All sorts of things that I've explained to little kids. And a lot of times I'm low-key explaining it to the adults too. Because I'm talking to the kids, but the adults are standing right there. And a lot of times adults have the very same questions. If you are kind, I've never had someone ask me, why is Macy doing that? Or even, what's wrong with her? Because sometimes she's really freaking out. I have never had someone ask me that and me feel offended. So ask. It's okay. If your kid asks and ask you and not me, answer them. You may not know that my daughter is autistic, but you may be able to recognize that everyone is different. You may give them more generic answer. Everyone is different, and sometimes people behave differently, and that's okay. We're still all loved and worthy and all that other great stuff. But it's not as embarrassing for me, I think, as it is for parents of the kids who are asking the question. If you see a special needs mom having a hard time with her child, is there any way you can offer help without sounding condescending? Yes. Please refrain from telling me that I should spank my child, because I might hit you. We don't spank Macy, and that's not going to help autism. And honestly, that statement a lot of times just comes out of ignorance. It's a very old school way of thought that somehow spanking a person is going to make them less autistic or make their behavior less. It might stop it in the moment. It's not going to stop Macy's behavior, but it might stop another child behavior in the moment, but it doesn't change behavior. Most of the time I got it. If you could not stare, that would be great. If you really feel like I don't have it, or if you see Macy running off from me, please tell me. Macy, I have been in a crowded place on a number of occasions, turn my shoulder, and Macy run off, and all of the adults never say anything. Just, you don't have to catch her. Just tell me so I can catch her. But if I am truly struggling and I don't immediately ask for help, or I can't immediately ask for help, because I do ask for help if I need it. But if I can't, it's okay to come up to me and ask me, hey, can I help you? How can I help you? And don't be offended if I say, no, I got it. Right? Sometimes another adult will make the situation worse, especially if we're in public and Macy is overstimulated. And I think that is the case for many special needs parents of differing needs, or diagnoses. But for me particularly, and Macy, we avoid a lot of things, which is another question. We avoid a lot of places. We know Macy's triggers, but sometimes things are unavoidable. And if she's really having a hard time, ask. And the worst thing I could say is no, and that's no skin off your back if I don't need any help. But please don't say anything like, oh, she needs a spanking. That's a bad one. Don't call my child bad. Do you feel socially isolated? And if so, how do you combat that? Do I feel I am socially isolated, but it does not bother me? This is why. I'm an introvert. I want to stay at home. But I can understand how the isolation that we experience because of Macy's sensory issues typically could be harmful to the mental health of many parents. What I would suggest, and this is something that I did for a little while because I recognize that, like, we don't do play dates. We don't go places like that. We avoid a lot of public places that are not routine. If we're invited to a birthday party in a public place, we're most likely not going to go. Still invite us. Send us an invite. But, we're most not likely not going to go. We've been invited to a couple of special needs or some of Macy's classmates' birthday parties. And so those are more ideal because all of the children there, most of the children there will be several autistic children there. And so the parents are throwing the party or have an autistic child. So there are more sensibilities that they're more, they understand more of the difficulties of bringing a child into a social setting. And so the places that the parties are held are geared toward being friendly and sensitive to autistic children. There are a couple of places. One of the jump parks here, Chuck E. Cheese, has sensory friendly hours. There's a children's museum that has sensory friendly hours for children with special needs. Those are all helpful, but outside of those, it's not really fun to have bring your kids somewhere and have a hard time. So a lot of times we'll just send a gift. It's usually appreciated. If you are feeling isolated though, and this is hard because a lot of people struggle with using ABA to overcome sensory issues, but it is helpful. You can actually come up with a protocol with your BCBA if your child is already in ABA. And oftentimes your OT can help you as well with different protocols that can help a child in social situations. And so you can set it up to where you start with limited social interaction and you increase it over time. Our child goes to a school with other children who have autism, and so we are able to have access to other parents. And I was over the PTO, and so I just made a play date. This was pre-pandemic. I was like, well, let's have a play date so we can be out and about. And that's what we did until the pandemic started, and then we had to quit. But yeah, I can imagine over the pandemic, many parents of children with special needs, not just autism, have been just really struggling because most autistic children have a comorbidity. Macy is generally healthy. Her comorbidity is ADHD, which doesn't make her higher risk for COVID. She's a kid, and so for a while they weren't vaccinated at all. But now that she is vaccinated, she can be in public and in social gatherings in a safe way, of course. But there are still many children with autism and special needs who can't because their comorbidities or that just means other illnesses piled on top of the illness that they have weaken their immune system. And so there are a lot of children who are not who either can't be vaccinated or are vaccinated and still are at higher risk, who aren't enjoying the laxer mandates being lifting. And so it's hard. YouTube helps me, honestly, like being able to create a YouTube channel, even though I am just talking to the camera, interacting in the comment section. There's an amazing autism community on Instagram. It's a mixed bag because, most communities have very strong opinions and a lot of the opinions are polar opposites, but can find camaraderie on social media, and that has been helpful for us. And yeah, just trying to maintain the relationships that we've already had before. All the people that we are closest to totally understand. Wow, I just thought about it, but 2 out of 3 of the people that I'm closest to also have children with special needs, so that's probably why they also understand. I don't know. My situation is different. I do feel for those who are struggling with the isolation that comes with having a child with special needs, but there is hope, and so it is not a hopeless situation. How can medical care providers be most supportive of special needs parents? So especially now, because we are doing 1, 2, 3 different transitions for Macy right now. And all of these transitions come with just boatloads of paperwork, like interviews and evaluations for her and just paperwork. I don't think people understand the amount of time and effort and red tape it takes to apply for, be evaluated for, and to maintain the services that come with having a special needs child. Not just the doctors, not just the therapists, not just the schools, but all the ancillary programs, benefits. It's so much. And I don't think medical providers understand all of the management aspect, because we basically become billing effort. We basically become the front desk of the doctor's office for our child. And so when dealing with parents and asking things of parents, like, it is always easy to assume that a parent is just being lazy. I don't know how you could think that a parent caring for a child with special needs that is actually caring for the child is being lazy, even if they're not in all the programs and services. Just the care of that child is a job in itself. So whatever. But like, yes, we want to take advantage of all the programs and all we do. It's just so much. I do not work. Managing Macy's therapies and services and schools and benefits is literally my job. I was so thankful one of Macy's insurances, because she has 2 insurances, one of Macy's insurances offer a program where they have a representative that a support coordinator representative type that actually fills out all of the paperwork and sets up all of the appointments for a particular set of benefits that come with Macy's Medicaid. And I was just like, the last 2 times that I had to apply, like, it's still going to be a lot of meetings, but it's literally hours to fill out this paperwork, and then to have an interview and fill out more paperwork, and another interview and fill out more paperwork, and then to have all of that paperwork reviewed by the. It's a lot. It's so much, and I want medical providers to understand the pressure and the strain that all of the red tape puts on parents, because it's not that and most parents of children with special needs work because they need the insurance. So it's not that we're just trying to put off stuff. It's that it takes time. And in that time, I remember one time I was trying to fill out a set of paperwork that was due the next day, and I was trying to hurry to get it done. But also, I was at home by myself with Macy. The paperwork had just been sent to me late, and nobody told me it was there. We got a lot to do. Be nice to us. What do you wish you could tell others but don't usually get the chance? What do I wish I could tell others that I don't usually get a chance? We get the chance because we do on YouTube, on Team Lawson, the other channel. I don't do a lot here on our Instagram, Team Lawson 225. But it is maybe a little awkward and different socializing with families, special needs families or autism families. It is a little bit different, but like, we are no different. We're mom and dad and kid, and she gets into stuff and she gets an attitude, and though she has her struggles with communication and socialization, she is still a kid. And yes, we have all this extra, but we still want to do the parent things too. And so being included is helpful. Being thought about is helpful. Prayers are always helpful because the stress is so immense. Like, the stakes are so high when you're raising kids. It really is. And I think we don't talk about that enough, just in general, not a special needs thing. The stakes when you're raising kids are so high because you want to do the best for them. You want them to have the very best in life. And when you have a child who has special needs, particularly with autism, it just adds another layer of difficulty to it. But we still have to do it, and we want to. We're not sad and forlorn unless I'm crying about toothbrushing. But we do want to have normal family fun interactions and want to be included. I think that's the last question I'm going to answer because I feel like this video is getting kind of long. If there are any other questions you'd like to ask me down in the comment section below. I'm going to put some link to some videos that might be helpful if you feel like your child has special needs or a child you know has special needs. If you feel like your child or child you know has autism, some links to videos that we've created, and those videos have links to all sorts of services and applications and things like that. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video and in the comment section down below.